Hello, NASDAQ followers, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bell. I'm your host, Leanne Alfaro. We're coming to you live from Times Square, New York City, where you just saw Advertising Week ring the opening bell. So to talk to me a little bit more about it, as well as Climate Week happening in New York City this week, is Lance Pillersdorf, co-founder and COO of Advertising Week, Maggie Q, activist and actress. You may recognize her from Nikita and Mission Impossible 3. John Marshall, founder of the Potential Energy Coalition. Thank you so much, all three of you, for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
So Lance, start by telling us a little bit more about Advertising Week.
So today kicks off our 16th edition of Advertising Week in New York. It's a global event that serves the advertising, marketing, brand, technology, and culture community. We've done 16 years in New York, 7 years in London, 4 years in Tokyo, 2 years we just finished in Sydney, 2 years in Mexico City for Latin America, and we're very excited to be launching in Johannesburg next year in Q2.
Amazing, quite the global event. So what's in store for this year for 2019?
So we have a great week of education, thought leadership, a little bit of fun. Today kicks off with, we have Gary Vaynerchuk on stage this morning. I think it may be happening right at this time. We have CMOs like Mark Pritchard and Raja Rajmanar from MasterCard talking to Marcus Samuelsson. And then tonight we have our opening night concert and kickoff at the the PlayStation Theater right here in Times Square, featuring TLC, which is an award for the Future is Female. So we have a pretty busy week, four full packed days. So we're excited.
That's fantastic. We're out of the gate. We're going to need a lot of coffee this week. And
Exactly.
so now this week also happens to coincide with Climate Week. So it's great that we have you here, John. Could you tell us a little bit more, you're founder of the Potential Energy Coalition. Tell us a little bit more about the nonprofit and how you work with marketing tools.
Great. So Potential Energy Coalition is a group of leading firms in advertising, media, and entertainment who have come together and said, we want to actually put pro bono resources into raising awareness on climate change. Last Friday, 4 million youth were out in the streets striking about climate change, and today is a major moment with the United Nations having a special meeting. And so we are fortunate to partner with Advertising Week as well as the Ad Council to basically say, well, our industry wants to show up on this issue. And we pulled our coalition together and expanded it, and we have 100 or more than 100 CEOs who have signed a pledge to commit serious resources to helping awaken the world to the climate crisis and recognizing that there's much more to do. And so we're really excited to partner with Advertising Week to get the word out that our industry, the advertising and marketing business, is showing up on climate change to support the youth who are raising their voices on the issue.
Talk to us a little bit how exactly brands can participate in a very effective way and in a way that also tracks progress as we have these climate discussions.
It's a great question. It's not an issue that gets much airtime. And so the first priority is we need to talk more about it. We need to integrate it into media, into marketing. We need to actually raise people's awareness of it. Less than 20% of people realize that there's actually scientific consensus on climate change. People think of it as a political issue. It really isn't. It's really a human issue. And so we're asking advertisers and marketing folks to both integrate it into their existing work, but also put their resources into creating new and innovative campaigns in partnership with Potential Energy to raise people's awareness on the issue.
That's absolutely crucial. Now, Maggie, you have been working in this space for quite some time, and you have several different approaches at which you're tackling climate change. So talk to us a little bit about one of them, diet.
Yes, diet is a huge one, and I think it's one of the things that we're not talking about most because it's people's comfort, it's people's culture, it's people's convenience. And although I believe in having those things and I believe people should have what they want, the truth is we have a science now that is so clear, and we can't ignore that animal agriculture is one of the leading causes of climate change. And the fact that we are 7 billion, we all have a demand for a specific thing. We're talking about resources that we just don't have. We don't have enough water, we don't have enough land mass, and we just don't have enough of room on the planet for the mix of nitric oxide and methane and ammonia going into our ground soil, into our rivers and our lakes and our streams. And people don't really understand that raising beef for food is one of the biggest killers of our reefs in the oceans, because you're talking about runoff that directly kills reefs. So you can't really talk about the issue without talking about diet change. And I've done big campaigns with PETA all over the world, fight climate change with diet change.
And you also have a company that launched this week. And
Yes.
what a great day for you to be at NASDAQ, where we
Yes.
champion these kind of companies that are innovative. Talk to us about Keep Up.
It's all been very fated, and I do feel very blessed to be here, especially on it's all kind of sort of nicely dovetailed, just meeting these gentlemen, and also Climate Week, the marches, our kids, our young people coming out and saying, you need to take responsibility for this. It's such a big deal. I can't think of any group of people whose messaging could be more important. How can we not listen to them? And so my company, Keep Up, we launched last week. It's an activewear line made out of recycled ocean plastics. And I've been an ocean conservationist for 20 years. And my dream was always, since I was 19, was to create a company that would create a commerce around my passions. And so I want to be able to support the groups that I've been fighting with for so many years for our oceans with this company, and also to be able to create a bigger platform, number one, for the oceans, but also create a different kind of consumer. Because if we are not voting with our dollar, I don't know what we're doing. And as consumers, we need to feel incredibly empowered that every single dollar that we spend is voting for which companies are going to succeed. And if those companies aren't in line with your values, don't give them your money.
That is so
very
important.
simple.
That is important to
Yeah.
know, that not only do we make political actions and
Right.
when we actually fill out a ballot, but also where we decide to put our money.
It's very true, because if our governments aren't going to take control of regulation for our environment, we can do it through business leaders. We can show them with our dollar, I don't agree with that. And guess what? They will have to change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as we wrap up here, what really drives each and one of you personally to take an action, whether it's from an advertising standpoint, marketing standpoint, or otherwise? I mean, Maggie, you cover so many different fields. What really drives you to take action, and what do you hope comes out of this week for Advertising Week and Climate Week alike?
I think for me it's simple. I look at, my daughter was here with me doing the opening bell, and it's about, the next generation and leaving the planet, in a better place than what we started with. So, I think it's we have no choice. I want to see my grandkids and my great grandkids, and for me, how can we use Advertising Week to really affect change? And it's really simple.
Absolutely. Maggie?
So much power, by the way, in advertising, to be able to inform people of what is actually happening. That is, number one, the most key thing. I have 10 nieces and nephews. I don't have my own children, but there's a generation that we are so responsible to. But not only that, I mean, I've always had such a profound respect for nature and the delicate balance that exists, and our responsibility in that is so enormous. And so if we're not taking that responsibility seriously, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, so Potential Energy was started because my 17-year-old locked me in the house and said, Dad, you're not leaving until you call all your powerful media executive friends. And so I had 48 hours. And after those 48 hours, I got a lot of yeses to the call, will you help? And so I'm doing it for my kids, and I'm doing it for all the young people who are expecting more of us. We called this pledge, The Future is Calling. And the future is also watching. And I think we really need to establish a legacy. Were we there at that moment when our kids needed us to be there? So we're doing it
Absolutely.
for
For
them.
the next generation, for the generation that's here right now, both. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. Looking forward to seeing everything that comes out of Advertising Week, that comes out of your new company. Congratulations again, Maggie, and of course, nonprofits and marketing and brands alike. So
Thank you so much.
we hope to have you back here at NASDAQ soon.
Thanks for having us.
NASDAQ followers, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Behind the Bell. Stay tuned for more coverage coming to you live right here from Times Square.